This 5-minute story will change your life. Have you ever felt like you're climbing a ladder, only to realize it's leaning against the wrong wall? This is the story of a man who had everything he thought he wanted, and in losing it all, found everything he truly needed. Kwame Adebayo's entire life was built on numbers. Kwame measured his self-worth by his net worth. His friends were his network. His life was built in 6-minute increments. From his office on the 30th floor of a glass tower, he was a king in a tailored suit, a master of the deal. He was just one step away from becoming the youngest VP in his firm's history. His world was a constant roar of ringing phones and blinking stock tickers. And he was completely, utterly empty. He didn't have conversations. He had transactions. People were either assets or liabilities. He saw the millions of lights from his penthouse window not as individual lives, but as a kingdom he was conquering. And then, it all came crashing down. It wasn't a slow-motion fall. It was a sudden, sickening lurch. A bad market, a deal that exploded, a scandal that needed a fall guy. In less than a week, Kwame's name went from symbol of success to cautionary tale. The very men he'd made millions for cut him loose. The penthouse, the car, the salary, gone. His phone, once buzzing constantly, went silent. He'd climbed so high he never thought about the fall. Now, looking out at the city, the lights just seemed to mock him. For the first time, all of Kwame's numbers added up to zero. Broke and humbled, Kwame took a job he never imagined, working for an hourly wage in a small, family-run bakery. His new uniform wasn't a suit, but a flour-dusted apron. His new office wasn't a trading floor, but a warm kitchen that smelled of bread. His boss, Baba Usman Sow, an older Afro-descendant man with gentle eyes and years of hard-earned wisdom in his features, didn't ask about Kwame's past. He only cared if the dough was rising and the ovens were hot. Kwame, who once navigated billion-dollar mergers, couldn't even knead dough correctly. He hated the ache in his back, the flour under his nails, and the sheer humility of it all. But as weeks turned into months, he learned the rhythm of the bakery. The quiet peace before dawn, the chaos of the morning rush. He started to notice things he'd been blind to before, the way a regular's face lit up at her favorite pastry. The small kindnesses Baba showed lonely customers, the simple joy of making something real with his own hands. The big realization didn't arrive like a bolt of lightning. It was a slow, quiet dawn. One rainy afternoon, Amina Kone rushed in, soaked and shivering. She bought a single loaf of bread. As she paid, she looked right at him and said, "Thank you. I was having a terrible day. And this is the one good thing that's happened." Her simple gratitude hit him harder than any 7-figure bonus. He'd spent his life chasing value, only to find it in a transaction worth a few dollars. He suddenly understood. Baba wasn't just baking bread. He was feeding the West African diaspora, and through them, the entire local community, creating tiny moments of warmth and connection. That was his real profit. Kwame's ambition didn't disappear. Its purpose changed. He was still a numbers guy, but now he focused on different numbers. How many people they could serve. How much unsold bread could go to a shelter. How they could hire struggling Afro-descendant teens and give them a second chance. He put his old skills to new use. He used his knowledge of finance, not to build a cold empire, but to strengthen a warm community hub. He helped Baba secure a loan to expand, not into a soulless chain, but just into the next neighborhood over. The bakery grew, but it never lost its soul. Kwame never made his millions back. He never wore a tailored suit to work again. But his life was richer than he'd ever dreamed. His new penthouse was a small apartment above the bakery, and it always smelled like fresh bread. His real rise wasn't a climb back to the 30th floor. It was planting his feet firmly on the ground, where life was actually happening. He learned that success isn't about how high you climb, but how many people you help lift along the way. Kwame finally saw that the ladder he'd been climbing his whole life was leaning against the wrong wall. He found purpose not in a boardroom, but in a bakery. Not in what he could acquire, but in what he could give. So ask yourself, the ladder you're climbing right now, is it leaning against the wall you truly want to reach? If this story touched you, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe for more stories that make you think.